Hello students, welcome to COM 525. We are in week 8 and we have our last lecture on media effects. This week we will be looking at a network society and new social order and considering how media effects is influenced by that. You should all feel very proud of yourself to be at the point that you are this semester with the course. You've all really dove into the course content and really started to gain a deeper understanding of how communication theory and media can have certain media effects and influence on society, and I'm really proud of all the progress you've made this semester. In addition, we're moving into the last stretch of assignments for the week. We have just our critical assignment due. That's it, and it's due on Saturday via TaskStream. I will explain to you how to submit that in a second. We are also reading the last 3 chapters of the text, chapters 25 through 27. The bulk of our conversation will be this week in this lecture. We'll be focusing on some of the aspects of chapter 27 to help highlight chapter 25 and 26. Your videos are on Mean World Syndrome and Returning Fire. These particular documentary style films will help you understand violence in media and media effects, particularly on gaming and such. If you have any questions, please let me know. As you know, we've been working on this already this semester a lot. Your critical assignment deals with a media research proposal. You will create a 15 to 20 page APA research proposal of a mass media theory that includes all of the elements of a research proposal. We've been working on this and identifying this a lot already. If you have particular questions with this, contact me early this week so I can help you make sure you've really hit some of those important concepts you need to hit within a research proposal early on in the week. This is due in day 6 of week 8 via TaskStream, which is on Saturday. As an important note, TaskStream is our new critical assignment submission process through Blackboard. It's an application we utilize within the functions of Blackboard for you to submit critical assignments. It is required as part of our accreditation for all online and professional studies courses through CBU Online to utilize this going forward. So this may seem new to you this semester, and that's okay. It's new to us too, and we will be utilizing this from here on out. Also know that as you submit this, it's important that you try to do this early on. We do have some people on call per se on Sunday to help you with any submission questions you may have, but that'll be after the deadline, and that will only be in the case that you had some severe technological issues in submitting it. So do not wait just until Saturday. Do try to do this early on Friday as well, or earlier on in the week, so we can address some issues there may be. There have not been any so far, but you never know when that may happen. What you'll do is you'll go to, within our week 8 module, the link that says submit the critical assignment here. Click that and TaskStream will pop up. The first time you utilize this, TaskStream will ask you to agree to a user agreement. You will need to read through that and click agree. Once you do that, it will pop up with TaskStream right there. You'll click on the critical assignment link for this course, which is COM 525. It's important for you to then click work, select attachments, upload your assignment the way you feel fit. This will need to be as an attachment. There's no other way that you can submit it. It will have to be via PDF, .doc, .docx, .rtf, or some form of attachment that is in the form of Microsoft Word or PDF. Once you've uploaded it, you click upload and close. You then click save and return to save your work, and then you have to actually submit the assignment. So click submit work. If you don't submit work, then I'll never receive your critical assignment, and unfortunately then it wouldn't be graded. So please, after you click save and return, click submit work, and then it will populate. Also, as you're working through this, please keep in mind I cannot accept your critical assignment via email. There's nowhere to post it in Blackboard. You have to go through TaskStream. That is the only way to submit your critical assignment. It's very important you keep that in mind. As we're looking at media effects this week, we're going to review a little bit about McLuhan because he comes up in the majority of your reading. We've already talked about the medium and the message to some extent, but we're going to kind of enhance our understanding of that. So as we know, in 1964, McLuhan hypothesized that it's not the message we communicate, but rather the technology we use to communicate the message. And really what he was saying was that communication technologies have the power to shape social order and priorities. He really felt that technology shapes society significantly. Our priorities or societal priorities tend to be driven around the most popular communication technology we use rather than the idea of communicating in itself. He felt that no matter what we're going to communicate, that's a given, but the technology we're using to communicate rather is more profound in shaping society than the act or the art of communication itself. And that's really important to understand. As we move forward, the network society, which is this theoretical framework that came to be around the early 2000s by Castells, expanded McLuhan's notion of this idea of the medium as the message. Particularly, specific advancements in technology and transportation nourish a fundamental shift in social order at all levels. So utilizing technology and transportation in that sense can fundamentally shift our social order and priorities from a societal standpoint. Really, relationships between communication technologies and their users have changed from that of receiving information as a consumer to consumers becoming active producers or contributors of media. Really, what's that saying in a really roundabout way is that instead of us utilizing technology or communication technologies from a consumer perspective has shifted to us utilizing communication technologies as a content producer or contributor of media. And what that means here is that we have these things here, these phones, right? Instead of using these to just receive information and being the receiver of communication, we can now use these to be a content producer of information through social networks or networks that we provide that we're connected to through communication technologies. We know this is an 8. Facebook, Instagram, all these social networking sites keep us together and be able to communicate actively with one another as content producers. We can orchestrate what we want our life to be perceived as through these social networks, or we can also upload video and things that we are experiencing in real time to help those that are spreading mass communication to understand what's going on. This isn't uncommon. We've seen this in Egypt with their revolution in Cairo, which was widely driven through Facebook and social medias and things of that nature. And so really what has happened is there are new relationships between communication technologies and society that have resulted in many social consequences that are creating a society driven by personal communication rather than a society dependent on mass media. So we can go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all these different social networks, social media outlets, and utilize personal communication to find out what's going on within society rather than being solely dependent on what mass communication is telling us. And it's really, really profound if you think of it from that perspective. Really, the widespread adoption and use of mobile communication technologies mark a new phase within this idea of network society, really characterized by heightened personalization in the relationships between the technologies we utilize, but also between the relationships we have with each other. And so we become, as a society, more reliant on personal, interpersonal communication interactions to find out what's going on rather than being told what's going on from a mass media outlet. And if you look at it from that perspective, it really changes the focus of what mobile communication is to mark the rise of a new personal communication society driven by mobile networks or the networked society. So we are now living in this society that has been deemed the network society, that we are using personal communication as our primary form of communication on all levels, interpersonal, mass, whatever it may be, rather than being dependent on what mass communication outlets are telling us about particular topics within society. If you think about that, that's pretty profound. We've really had this fundamental shift on where we focus our societal order in communication. We're going back to what Ong told us, Ong, a profound communication historian and theorist, to a second orality, which really goes back to the ideas of ancient times, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, many centuries ago, that told us that we live in these small innate cultures that are oral societies reliant on interpersonal interactions to find out what's going on. We do that today now. We're in a second orality. We've gone back to what our roots of communication have told us. We're just using communication technologies to find that out in a more sophisticated way. As you look through the week 8 agenda, keep in mind that you are turning in your critical assignment. As you watch the videos, think about the network society and what that means, especially as you read the text. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. I love talking about it. I find it's very profound to me. I've really enjoyed being your professor this semester. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd be more than willing to reach out to you in any number of ways and help you with things. Otherwise, I pray you all have a blessed week, and I look forward to interacting with you again soon.